Hopefully today the pieces of the puzzle will start coming together for you. They have for me for a while since my last two phone calls. They really are starting to resonate, and there's more to come. First, do me a favor, like and subscribe, because that really helps me. Also, if you saw the video this morning of Nancy Guthrie's daughter, Savannah, that's heartbreaking. I just really feel sorry that there's so much agony going on. She said a few little things that maybe I'm going to pinpoint later on. But I want to get into today, that's right, we're into the big book of Bull. How can we go on without having something in the big book of Bull? But before we do, I want to because there's many people here that come in and they're like, Zelda, what are you talking about? I have no idea. Who's this? Who's that? And we are going to read cards today. I have cleared, this is a crystal. I have cleared the energy here. There's a lot of energy, a lot of anxiety. And we'll see how this goes. So my darlings, today is Nancy Guthrie. I don't like to keep track of days. To me, that's like being on Weight Watchers. You're waiting to see a loss. I don't want to do that. I want to just be here and give you the facts of what I know. So let's back up a little bit because I need to do that so you can remember how we're going to move into this, okay? So Nancy Guthrie, as per the flyer for the FBI, was last seen January 31st of 2026. She was reported missing February 1st of 2026. Now, here's some very interesting things. I want to go back here. Let me go back here because let me find this page. Let me find the page. Give me a second. Okay, so I want you to take notes. Get your snack and your drink. Let's go. So let me take you back to the past just for a moment. This was Saturday, February 21st of 2026. Now we're going to get to the meat and potatoes. But anytime in an investigation, as far as forensic, intuitive, tarot, you have to lay a foundation. You just can't jump in. Because if you give a general reading, you're going to give general answers. We don't want general answers. We want facts, and we want answers based on facts. Well, I have facts for you. December 19th was the first time of 2025 there was a Google trend search for images regarding Nancy Guthrie. Her address and images. And then again, January 1st of 2026. And then the address, January 5th of 2026, January 17th, January 23rd. And now there's images from Nancy's house that coincide with this Google trend search. Where did this come from? It came from Grand Junction, Colorado. Why Grand Junction, Colorado? Well, there's a fellow there. There's a fellow there that we've all heard about in the news. He had an island. He had files that came out. There were victims. I'm not going to mention the name, and I'm hoping that you don't either. There were many pointed elements from Grand Junction, let me say that. Now, searches were traced, and January 11th search was traced out of Tucson. Isn't that where the image, or when the image, the first one that was dark, of that perp standing in front of Nancy's house? Yes, it was. Grand Junction. Now, why Grand Junction? Well, because this island guy, we're going to call him Epi. Epi has property up in there that is very desolate. And how do we know all this? Well, Epi, and I'll post them here so you can catch up. He received Western Union checks that were written from Western Union on a bank in Grand Junction, Colorado. One of the TMZ, the ransom notes. Basically, someone said, if you pay us, we'll return her within 12 hours. Grand Junction is about 10 and a half, maybe 11 hours on a good day north of Tucson, Arizona. Well, you're asking me why they would do that? Well, let me tell you. In 2019, this right here, I'm going to call it the Tomorrow Show. That's where Savannah had an interview with a woman by the name of Virginia. We're going to call her Ginny. She spilled the tea. She told everything about the island guy, about former Prince Andrew, and all of this was very serious. And believe me, let the games begin after that. Everything went haywire. It was Savannah that had that interview. Now, I'm not blaming Savannah, but I'm going to tell you, this morning when she said that her brother, said, well, I think, sweetie, this might be because of you. It's not because she's famous. It's because she brought all of this to light, and everything went absolutely stark, ravingly crazy. Now, if you think they don't play games, I want to ask you about the incarceration of the Epi guy. Do you believe that he did what he did in that? No. Do I believe that he is still around? Oh, yes, I do. I never believed it from the first time. We're not going to go there. But I just want you to know, okay? But the searches were repeated over a 6-week period. This is planning behavior, my darlings. Why? So why would they target Nancy to give Savannah? It was a message. Is payback. Look at what you stirred. You stirred the pot. Have you seen any other news outlet, news media do very serious interviews? I haven't. I've seen them touch base on this and this and this. But unfortunately, Miss Ginny lost her life. She had a horrible accident and survived. And unfortunately, her family said, well, she's not in the mindset that would give herself a ticket to paradise. But guess what happened? That happened. And the cause on the ME's death certificate was giving herself the ticket to paradise. You know what that is. I can't say it here. I have maintained this because 2 people that have done these searches have been turned over to the authorities. One person that has done these searches that is actually in Tucson the names have been turned over to the authorities. We had all kinds of different timelines here. The ransom note that came in February 6th of TMZ, that was with Harvey. That's when they said that Nancy would be returned within 12 hours. Now, I wrote on here March 19th, how did they know? How did they figure out where Nancy was going to be and when she was going to be around? Well, they kept looking at her property that whole time and scoping her out. They were lying in wait. Sadly, someone would have had to give them that information. Now, here comes, and I'm going to link a couple of videos here, so if this is your first time, you'll get the whole rundown and everything that's going on. But my darlings, I am 100%, in my opinion, convinced that this right here is the reason, and it all goes back to that 2019. Yeah, but Zelda, why would they wait so long? Well, why not? You know, when you want to hurt somebody, see, the reason you're trying to be logical about this is because you would never do something like this. But you know, crime has no timeline. Crime, they always say you do the crime, you do the time. Well, it takes time to do the crime. And that's what I want you to realize. This was well thought out and planned. Go in, get her. Do I believe the 41 minutes while somebody was in her house? No, I don't really. Oops, somebody is being loud outside. I'll be right back. I guess everybody's feeling like spring. There's workermen outside. They're backing up. You can hear their little beep beeps and chainsaws and all that. Okay, so here we go. We're back. This is very intense. But this eliminates the guessing games. Is this going to be followed up on and followed through? I don't know. That's what I asked on my call. They don't have to answer. So if you're asking me what they said, they don't have to answer. Let me put it to you that way. But all signs in the cards and the maps, everything that I've done, point to this right here. It points to it right there. And I believe now Google Trends has erased that information because it doesn't stay on there forever. So let me share something else with you. Here we go. Now, put your little thinking caps on, because this is going to tie it together. So Nancy went missing February 1st of 2026. Okay? She was last seen on the 31st of 2026. Now here's where it gets really interesting. On February 4th, our president, and I'm just going to say this right now, this is not a political channel, and ugly political comments are not appreciated and are usually automatically blocked. I'm giving you this information for timeline only, okay? Because it happened and it's really important. So do yourself a favor and don't bother if you plan on doing that, because nobody's going to see it anyway. So our president, this is Prez DJT, Trump, came out and said that they were going to do everything that they could. He talked about Nancy Guthrie, and he was getting ready to be on a plane. He made the call to the Guthrie family. He said everything that he could. He said, we're going to do everything that we could. Kash Patel, blah, blah, the head of the FBI, right? will get involved, cash. So why is that important? Well, because also on February 4th, and I'm going to say the timelines go from February 4th to February 5th, right in here. On February 4th, from the Oval Office, and I'm going to paraphrase here, our prez said, I don't want to talk anymore about those files. Remember? No more conspiracies. I'm doing that on a purpose. No more of that. It's time to move on to other things. Well, why are these dates? There's no coincidence. She goes missing on the 1st. He says on the 4th they're going to do everything that they can, and also not simultaneously, but in the same time frame says, oh, we're going to move on from those epi files. Because we need to. We need to move on from those. We've got better things to do. And believe me, it made everybody so mad, and the conjecture, everything else. But I want you to know, let's peel away let's peel away the onion. Let's peel away this. What did he know? Well, he already knew. In my opinion, now I haven't talked to him, but in my opinion, he knew what was up with Nancy. How did he know? Well, because he already knew. He already knew about that 2019. Already know about the interview at NBC. And he also knew that the congressional testimony hearings with I'm going to call them this, the Clintocks, you know who they are. And don't get mad at me because I do that. This is my channel. And sometimes these things can get, So I want it to remain because you need to know these things. So go with the flow here. The Clintocks also had to testify about the same island and about the hubby who visited the island more than one time. Do I think it's a coincidence? No. He knew the moment that he heard what happened. I'm also going to tell you this. Nancy Guthrie was not a fan of him. How do I know? Well, I don't know. If you look back on her Facebook, she was posting some pretty not nice things. That's okay. Not everybody likes everybody, and everybody's allowed to have their opinion. So it wasn't because there was no love lost between there. It wasn't, they did not rub elbows in Mar-a-Lago, believe me. She felt a particular way, Nancy did. And you know what? That's okay. That's what makes the world go around, right? It's okay. It's not about that. But the point being here is there was tension there. And if she knew after she posted that stuff that he was going to step in and say, well, we're going to do everything he could, why would he step in? Could it possibly sort of kind of be that he knew about the epi files? And that he thought that this guy from Grand Junction, who had all of this property up there near the Colorado River, Now, let me also tell you this about Grand Junction. The sheriff up there has put out bolos, which is be on the lookout for suspicious vehicles that have been coming off of some of these exits that are vans that have darkened gray windows and pickup trucks, these small pickup trucks that are following them. Where are they coming out from? These desolate areas and the dark of the night. People have known that there's things that go on there. I have many of you that are from around that area that write to me and say, oh yeah, some of this stuff is sus, I'm telling you, darling. So I want you to just take a minute, and I know some of you are going to say, I don't get it. Well, I'm going to tell you how to get it. Trump was in the Oval Office. I believe it was on the 4th. It was either, there's a timeline there of the 4th and the 5th, okay? So the timeline of 4th or 5th of February, and a reporter said, hey, we need to get into this. We need to know more about this. Well, first of all, he already knew that Nancy had been taken. How did he know? Most likely Mark Kelly, who is a representative in Arizona, that Savannah called right after or right around that time frame that she found out, and she called Mark Kelly. Well, I'm sure Mark Kelly is going to call the what? The place that he lives in, which is, I don't know, if you looked at it, it's kind of big and it's kind of white. And so you have to understand there's an understanding. Why do you think that Trump is stepping in? Because he knew. Anybody else, he doesn't step in. He doesn't step in. Why? Think about it. Think about this. He knows. He knows the havoc that had been unleashed, and that's why he said we're going to do everything that we can. Because now it's getting close to home. Now it's getting kind of weird, and now you can hear chainsaws in the back. Let me turn this off a second. I think we're safe now. Chainsaws, leaf blowers, muckmire mayhem. Now, could this be a distraction? Because you see, there's other things that are going on too. I'm going to tell you, knowing how I know how things work, you always want to deflect when you're working on something. Don't allow people to dwell. You know why? I'm going to tell you why. Here's dwell. Let's just do this. Dwell. So here in America, yes, this is my makeshift little house. You know what we call that? We call that a dwelling. Why? Because we dwell there. We live there. So why do you not want people to dwell on a particular situation? Because you don't want them setting up house. You don't want them living there. You don't want them camping out for a long time. Because sometimes there are things you just can't talk about, and I know that. So, now, in my opinion, he knew. He knew right away. He knew who was behind this, in my opinion. It's because he had Kash Patel on that as well. Why? Because they had already been, and they are still continuing to investigate a lot of things that went on in those islands. So he took it upon himself and this country to devote what they could down to Tucson, Catalina Hills. Now, well, Zelda, they haven't come up with anything. I know. Because guess who else we have dwelling there? And that is No-Dos, who has been dwelling in the middle of that investigation. Every time you say yes, he says no, and vice versa. You take 2 steps forward, he makes you take 3 steps back, and there's the leaf blower again. I'll be right back. Okay, so here we are again. No more leaf blowers, hopefully. So No-Dos is right there in our beautiful state of Arizona. It's very obvious that he has problems. We're not going to go on there today, but we did touch on that a couple of days ago. People want him to leave office, and quickly. Will he? I'm not so confident about that. The Arizonians that I know and I love are good people. But you're only as good as your leadership. And what will the leadership do with nanos? That's pretty much where we are. So we have to say that he has been dwelling. And now, do I believe that he has been contacted and he's involved with this and everything? No. They're just allowing him to be his old hateful self. And sometimes that works in a big plan when you're trying to make time for a crime. Just allow someone to do what they normally do, which is nothing or screwing up. You don't want anybody that's on the ball like former Sheriff Napier. Why didn't they do that when he was sheriff? Well, I don't know. Could have been the timeline. But they know that Napier would have got in it like this. And now we're sitting here twirling our thumbs. And I don't believe he's doing anything. That's what he's doing. I don't believe he's doing anything. I don't believe we have anything. What they will do, and this is what I told them when I got the call. I'm giving you what I'm giving you. You see, you can't make these people do what they need to do. You can't make them find her. You can't. Everybody's like, well, you need to share with you. You need to make this. I had somebody that was really ugly yesterday come in here. I'm just going to tell you. You tell them what you know, and you tell them, you give them, and what they do with it, you have no control over. You're out of it from that point. Now we're going to read cards. Watch. He knew. You can start going down the little bunny trail, because this is turning into a big conspiracy, if you know what I mean. And I say it that way because sometimes Mr. Al Gore Rhythm doesn't like those particular words. I want to show you a few little things here. I have Moisha, and by the way, thank you again for being here. I have some little cat whiskers that were left for us because they knew you were going to be here, and it is a blessing to have a cat whisker. And by the way, join me Saturday night live at 7 p.m. Eastern. That's New York time. Got a few little things we're going to talk to you about. Missing persons. We're going to talk a little bit about things. But then we're going to also watch a 24-hour paranormal camera that is live in a haunted historic library. And we're going to see if we see something. And I'm going to tell stories. So come and join me because I know we're going to have a good time. And you know, sometimes we just have to get together and we have to relax a little bit because these heavy weeks are not good. They're not good for us. You have to blow off a little steam, and you have to laugh while we're crying. This is the Star card. Now, yeah, it's well used. Don't look at this right here because, you know, I've had these cards for decades. This is a beautiful card, and I'm using this one because it's the biggest card that I've got. And yes, she has a little bikini on because, you know, Mr. Al Gore doesn't like naked. So we can't do that either. But I'm going to tell you about this card. Why? Well, this is the significator card of Nancy Guthrie. There's some things in here I bet you don't know, and I'm here to teach you. And this is Moisha. Hello. All right. If you'd like to know about Moisha, I have done a little video on him. I'll hopefully can attach it here as well. In the 15th century, this 8-pointed star was a 6-pointed star. Now, in the 15th century, when I went to kindergarten with God, maybe my husband did, we don't know. But in the 15th century, everybody stayed away from the number 6 because they were very superstitious back then. And it led them to believe that it would be 666 for whatever reason. They were afraid of those numbers. They're just numbers. For any of you who say 666, I'll write it on all. They're just numbers, but they do have meaning behind them. We'll maybe talk about that someday. So we have this now 8-pointed star. This is the guiding light. This is the guide in which this young lady is under. The 7 stars here represent the 7 points of the chakra. Now you see here, this little birdie, and we have a tree back there. It's all about growth. And this is a fixed air sign. That's why you see that bird not in flight. Looks like he's flapping around there, doesn't it? But he's sitting there. He is fixed on that tree. In the background, we see very luscious greenery, and that's all about growth. This card is all about hope and healing. Musical notes are attached to each tarot card. Yes, that is true. This card happens to be an A sharp. An A sharp can sound like a B flat, but this is an A sharp. This is also for the planet Uranus. Now, some little symbolism here. You see she's balanced, and this card not only is about hope and healing, but it's about balance in everything that we do. She has a jug here that's pouring out water into the ground, and a jug pouring out water, creating 2 simultaneous streams that represent the conscious and the subconscious, can also represent life and death in some regard. She's balanced all right. Look at her. I don't know if I could do that or not, but the fact that she has 1 foot on top of the water, do you see that? It's not in the water, it's on top. There is a subtle reference here of Jesus walking on water. Why would that be? Because this is such a pure card and such beautiful divination. There is a beautiful idea that there is a higher power over this. This can be, she has been compared to Narcissus. You know, she was the one who looked in the pond and admired herself so much that she fell in, and, well, she met her maker. But that's not the case here. This is all about healing, hope, growth. This is the sign of Aquarius, and it is said, now I know a lot of very intelligent people, but it is said that when you are an Aquarius, you are the most intelligent of your element, if not the most intelligent of the entire zodiac. I don't know about that, but maybe of the fixed, maybe of the air elements. But this is a fixed sign. What does that mean? She's not mutable. She can't navigate and go this way. Fixed is, you might as well just say there's a hard line. So I wanted to tell you about the Star card before we go on, only in honor of Miss Nancy, because there is a lot of hope. There's a lot of hope, and definitely there's a lot of healing ahead, no matter what happens. So now let's read the cards. Thank you for that. What I'm going to do today is something because I want some answers, and I know you do too. This is the Vintage Tarot. Here is the box. It is a Rider-Waite deck, and the illustrator is Pamela Coleman Smith. And for those of you who don't know and who have never seen, you see this little signature that's usually on every card. That is her signature, her little signal there. That's her signature. All right. Now I'm going to shuffle these because I only have the Cartomancy. We're going to put the key here. It's got iron. It dispels negativity and even things that are darker. So now we're going to do this. I'm only going to lay out 3 because I want to know. All right. I'm going to do this 3 times. All right. So what I'm going to do is I just dropped this dice and I'm going to draw 4 cards. So I'm sorry, 5 cards. Hello, Zelda. Yeah, test. Here we are. 1, 2, 3, Moisha, 4, 5. Now we're not going to look at the bottom of the deck yet. We're going to turn over the first card. This is extremely heartbreaking. And the swords are air elements. Well, Nancy is an air element as well. This has so much meaning around it because gray skies and dreary, horrible. The swords are communication and there are our thoughts. And this sums up what what Savannah was saying this morning is that there is some guilt there. She feels that it's because of her. It's not her fault. It's not her fault. She did what she thought she was doing was right. And I don't blame her. No one should blame her. This is, and boy, I equate this with Mr. No-Dose. Oh, brother, this guy stinks. This is the 4 of Cups. You see this beautiful, benevolent hand coming out of the heavens, offering a cup. That cup may be a solution. And this, let's just say this is Sheriff No-Dose. Sitting there, puffy, and not wanting. He has been offered 3 so far. Here is the 4th one. Sometimes people say that, oh, they're holding back their energy or they're stubborn. Sometimes they are. Sometimes it is protecting your own energy. But in this particular case, since we are reading on the Nancy Guthrie case, we don't know who's going to come out. Well, that is Sheriff No-Dose. Now, I've got to tell you one more thing. And I might as well bring it up now. I got to get out the big bookable again. Here we are. Savannah has a husband. She has a husband, and you can see we go through all this, don't we? I mean, my goodness, we go through it all. But Savannah has a husband that at one time was supposed to be introduced by Mr. Clintock. Okay, his wife is Hill Clintock, but Savannah's husband is considered to be a cleaner. What is a cleaner? Well, you wipe the slate clean. You go in and you extract all the negativity, off of the internet for your client. It was Epi that wanted to meet Savannah's husband because of Savannah's had that company. Her husband was involved with that company that did the cleaning off the internet to get rid of negativity. Do you see how much? Now, I've got to tell you this. There was another person involved. Nobody talks about this, but there was another person involved with Savannah's husband's company. I think her name was, I don't know, could it be a Rothschild or a Rockefeller or somebody like that? I don't know. Might have to look that up. But evidently, she met a very fluky, horrible demise and got her ticket to the upper room. I don't know. Were there some things that were going on in there? Yeah. Does Mr. Savannah, I'm going to say it that way, his name is Michael, does he know things that he probably shouldn't? Oh, he probably. Because he's done work for a lot of people. Just keep that in mind as well. The next card. This is all about the home. You see how these are falling into place? It's talking about Nancy's case, the heartbreaking message from today, the offering of solutions to NoseDoes, the Cajun Navy, other people who have dogs, other people that want to volunteer, and the answer has been no, no, no. Well, we had no because it's a 4. Here's another 4. So we have a 3 and 4 and 4. This is a fiery element. This is water, which he should be looking around some type of water reference. But you see, this is the 4 of Wands. Fiery element, a celebration within, and I do believe that there were many celebrations at Nancy's house. I believe that this is an indication that there's still something there at that house. I've always said it. I will maintain that. I believe that. The Queen of Wands, very, very interesting. This is a card, and I believe that the queens are the ones who make the rules and the kings are the ones who enforce them. As should be. Okay, so anyway, this is a wand as well. This is all about growth and oh my goodness, I just said it, didn't I? Open doors. You see how that works? You see how that works? You see how you have to go through the cards? It's all about open doors. The Queen of Wands, a fire element, and look at that little mouth. Look at those eyes. I love it. But she's looking in a different direction because sometimes she just can't look straight away, but she's looking out and scanning on what she needs to know. The sunflower is all about growth. This is a card of intuition and also creativity. Last but not least here, the Queen of Pentacles. A grounded card, and it's a card of finances. It sometimes can be a healing in the finances. I do believe that they have given money to some organizations that, that missing people, missing children. But this can be looking at this money with intention. Now, here comes another dice. We're gonna roll one more. One more for this deck. Here is the Temperance card, and you're gonna love this, my darlings. Also the card of Sagittarius, also the card of someone who is very loyal, but also can represent law enforcement. This card much like the star card. Let me grab that. There's a lot of reference here we can talk about. You see how each one of these ladies have a 1 foot in the water. Now she has her foot in the water. She has her foot on top of the water. The same thing, the balance. Takes a little skill to be able to balance, to pour water between 2 cups. We're just going to leave this out here. The fact that the wings go off the frame of the card mean that we're not done yet. And you see, there's a goal in the background, and it means we may have made a little bit of coverage, but we're certainly not done yet. This whole thing, you see there's a reference of 2s here. And the one thing, many people, have you ever seen those old medieval century paintings? My husband has one. It's very interesting. They always have this little halo around there. Well, what that means is enlightenment. It's time for the police officers. It's all about enlightenment. They're loyal to this. They're loyal to finding Nancy, but they're being held back by this dude. Now, what does this little triangle on her or on this angels? Usually angels do not have a gender. Sometimes they do. That's another conversation. But this angel with this little right here, this triangle, that is a balance between the material, the physical, and the spiritual. When you're dealing with these things, everything must be enlightened. Her little wings are red because there's a lot of compassion and passion there. But you see there's growth on this side too. But isn't it amazing though, the water reference? We're going to lay that here. Now, we're going to take one more. We're going to take one more. 2. We're going to take these from the Cartomancy. I hope that you are really, and I'm going to tell you something, tune in for tomorrow. Many of you have asked me about General McCaslin, and I have turned it down so many times, and I thought, I may as well share what I know. Don't miss it tomorrow. Get your tinfoil little hat out, because it might be a little on the cryptic side. It might be a little on the conspiracy. 2 cards. 5 of spades and the ace of diamonds. Sorry, something came across my phone and it distracted me. Now I want to look at the unseen on the tarot. Family, making money. Money? No, making memories. This is the 6 of Cups, and this cup card is the only cup card in the tarot deck that has the flowers, which are the same in each cup. And you can see here, look at that. Thank you, Moisha. Boy, that makes it so much easy. Thank you, Judy, for this again. Do you see this little face in her hair? Some of the cards don't have that in. And you see this guy walking away? Could it be somebody that is a little two-faced? Because I'm going to tell you, I am totally convinced that someone who knew Nancy and knew her schedule, knew the layout of her home, it's one thing to Google Trend somebody, but sometimes it just takes a little bit more input. And I'll tell you, I'm not saying any names, but somebody knew. And they are here, oh my goodness, laying flowers at her home. Oh my. Outside of a home, flowers, thinking, memories, someone that is two-faced. Do I believe that one of the perps have come back? Oh yeah, I believe they've missed. They watch, and I also believe that they have been back there. Just see which way the wind is blowing. You know how that is. We have this 5 of spades. Now this 5 of spades, spades in my deck when I read are not, they're not so good. This is all about misunderstandings. This is all about frustration, not with yourself, but with someone else. It can even be a little bit of jealousy, but this is all about even misrepresentation. I'll let you think on that. This is a card of spring. Here we are. It's a new beginning. It's also, in my book, an air element. So is Nancy. There's a lot of references here, my darling. You see how we go through this? Now, if you like the way I'm doing this and you're just curious if you can do it or not, I am writing a little book. It should be ready, hopefully, before this weekend. And it will be available in the shop. You can download it. It'll tell you where to go to follow things, how to research things, and it'll even give you a few of these little layouts. Get it and have fun. And it'll give you instructions. It'll tell you everything about there, and it'll show you how I do things. And then sometimes you can just expand on yourself. Thanks so much for being here, my darlings. Find Nancy. Find her. I know that there is such a concentration on finding that person, but I really want to see a concentration on finding Nancy. I'll see you soon. Bye for now.